So hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Codersarts. So in today's video, we are going to learn or understand what is command line argument in Python. Okay, so before going to deep dive, let's first try to understand what is command line argument. Okay, so might be if you are using Windows, so in Windows CMD is called command line. If you are using MacBook or Linux, so terminal is called command line or CMD we can say. So it means with the help of terminal or either CMD, we can do some extra capability of the programming languages. So it means the terminal or command prompt give extra capability to any programming language to do some extra activity from the machine, okay, or maybe some extra feature we can do. So first let's try to understand what is command line argument. So you can get from this theory, but first let's try to understand the practical thing, then we will try to understand what is this theoretical concept. Okay, so I'm going to open any I'm using MacBook, so I'm using terminal. If you have using if you are using window machine, so you can use CMD. Okay, so terminal, so this one. Okay, so this is called command line or CMD. So with the help of CMD, we have to run. So if you're talking about the Python, with the help of programming language, if we can perform some extra activity or we can do some extra capability with the help of programming language, maybe in Python, C++, Java, any other programming languages. So if with the help of command prompt, we can do some other activity that is not bound to any programming language, then the real use cases or concept of command line argument in Python will be used. Okay, so first let's try to understand command. So if you type anything here, so that is called command. Let's suppose I am typing this one, Python, so Python 3, or even first let's do not you know take any example that is associated with Python. Okay, suppose let's take a general example. Suppose ls. So ls command is used to list down all the directory and the file in the present working directory. So this is ls. So this is one command. If you type other command like present working directory, if I want to check what is my complete path location where I am currently assigned, or where I am in the present folder. So with the help of present working directory, so you can get this result. This result explaining I am currently available or present at this directory. Okay, so this is command. If you do some extra things like ls dash minus l, okay, so this is called l. This is optional. Okay, so you can see this is not mandatory. Here I am only using ls, and if we want to do some extra things with the help of ls command, that is called l. So that is optional. Okay, so let's type this, run this one. So you can see now you can get the idea. You can get more information about all the directory with the help of permissions, what the access role, which date is created. Okay, so it means that is optional, and this is giving extra capability to this command, right? So this is called optional. So let's take some other example, like suppose I want to copy something. Okay, so if you are copying something, so let's suppose this one. Okay, this is the file name, and because I am already in this working directory. Okay, and this directory, all the different file and folders are available. If I want to copy this file, okay, to some other locations, let's suppose I'm going to desktop. So it means this is called command, and this is the file name, or we can say source file name from where I want to copy, and this is the destination. So destination may be ABCD, any file name you can be destinations. Destination. So it means you can see for this command two more information are required. Okay, and this is mandatory information, that is this one source argument and this is destination. So without these two extra informations we are not able to execute this command. Okay, so in this case these are called argument. Okay, this is first argument. First argument should be source file name and second should be destination, this one. Then this command will execute it. Okay, so this is not correct path. I have to use this one, but just for explanation I'm just using this reference. Okay, so in this case you can see this all two argument are mandatory. If you are using something like that li or something like that, or maybe something called h or something like that, so you can see these are optional. In case here is optional, maybe this will not work for here, just for explanation, just for explaining. So in this case this is called optional and this is called mandatory or it called command. In this case this is called command and this is called argument. Okay, so this is complete definitions of command line argument. So this is command line, this window is called, this application is called command line application, and then in this command line interface we are passing this argument. So argument 1, argument 2. Okay, and so three important thing is there: command, argument can be any number of type, any number of, based on the what is the need of the command, what the command is doing. In this command, ls command, argument is not necessary. In this case options are in optional, some optional information lh or some optional information is required. Optional information can be available in any command, that can be, we can check what those command provide. Okay, so what that command have extra facilities or extra capability they have. So is this command has optional or not, is this command has only argument or not, something like that. Okay, but we are sure that for copy command, cp means copy command, we need at least two argument to pass to execute this command. Okay, in this case only ls is single command, there is no any more argument is needed. But if you want to get some more information you can pass options. So three things are important: command, options and argument, right? So this is our complete understanding. So you can say this is our complete use of command line argument. Similarly, this is already predefined MacBook commands. Okay, we haven't done that, but if we want to perform or we want to get similar feature or similar capability with the help of Python, so we can define something like that. Suppose, okay, so suppose we have created some Python file called python.sum for summations. Okay, and if we pass any argument like 1 2 3 4 5 any number of times, so if we are passing like that, and this program if do the summation of all the things, then we have created our own command. Okay, so this is meaning of command line argument. So with the help of Pythons we can create our own command. Okay, so any command it could be, so maybe you can use your own ls command, something like that. In ls you can write your own name, so if you type that name, that will do the string. So this is ls for listing. Maybe you can pipe something like that for adding something, maybe for multiplications. So anything you can create your own command with the help of Python. Similarly for other programming language. So this is the importance of command line argument you need to understand. Okay, so let me show you some others example. Suppose if you are typing Python, okay, Python 3 and then version. Okay, so you can see, okay, fine, this is wrong command, this is not any command like that. Okay, let's run this one. Fine, so you can see this is command and also this is options. So always option decide, if you want to decide some, or if you want to pass some optional features of sometime, this is called options or optional. Okay, so either with the help of single dash or 2 time dash. So this can be defined. You can define either by you minus 1 time dash or 2 time dash. You can define in programming. In your program you can write this one. So similarly for Python command, if we do not pass this version, so this will directly, this command will open the Python shell, right? You can see this is a Python shell, and this Python shell you can execute anything and then exit from here. Right, so we exited from here. So this is meaning of command line argument. So now let's go to the theory part and let's try to understand. Okay, so this one. So what is command line argument? They are additional piece of information that you can pass to Python script when you run it from the command line. Okay, so till now we haven't write any command, but from there you can get this one. You can check from idea here, from this, from command, anything other thing. They provide way to customize the script behavior without having to modify code itself. Okay, so the one extra feature is that every times if you want to, suppose in this case, you don't have to worry about what is inside and what is code, what is the program written for ls, how ls is working. You don't have to worry about that. Just you have to take care, you have to remember what this command will do. You have to just remember the functionality. Rest of the code you don't have to worry about. Okay, so similarly we will create for Python script. Okay, I will create some Python code for creating command line argument. Just for explanation I'm just saying. Okay, so this is one thing. Every time if you want to pass any number of argument, you do not have to every time go to the code and change the code. Okay, you don't have to worry about, you don't have to do that. Think of them as a optional instruction you give to your script. So similarly, if you create something like that, this is called optional instructions. If you want to give some optional instructions like that, that you also can do that. Creating your own command, I will discuss how you can create command. Okay, and now this is the, so if we want to perform all the things like that, so how can do that in Python? So with the help of sys modules. Okay, so this is the modules that give options to modify or perform the capability of command line argument with the help of this. So let's do hands-on. Okay, so I am going to use Python idle. So you can use anyone. I am just using for this, and then open one file. Okay, and let's save this. First command line. Okay, fine. So save this one. First I'm going to save somewhere. Let's go to the desktop. If there is something like that, Python hands-on. Okay, is there something? Okay, fine. Here I'm going to save it. First cmd. Okay, and then save it. Okay, fine. So our first goal should be, we have to import these modules. Okay, so first import, not modules, module. So import sys. Fine, this is first line of code, and this modules has some attribute that is called argv. Okay, and this is type of list. Okay, so this modules or library or anything that has this argv variables. Okay, just we have to kindly worry about that. And this is a type of list. type is list type. Okay, so the RGB is a list type. There is some variables stored inside this modules. Okay, so how we can access this one? So let's first print this one. Print ARGV. Fine, but we cannot do like that. Just you have to use this and then this ARGV. Fine. So let's run this one first. I'm going here, just clear. Now I'm going to the locations where my file is stored. Okay, so Python hands-on. Okay, so let me do like that, because we have to go to there, and then I use the first. If also you can check it where what is the file name. So what was the, okay, fine, we have to go here. So first change the directory cd and then Python hands-on. So just do this is shortcut for copy the current file path. Okay, not like that. There should be some space between this. Okay, fine. Let's now do the ls. So you can see this was our first, this was the program name, first AMD. Fine, this one was. Now we have to run this one. Python 3, how to run Python file. Then first you have to use Python 3. If you are using Python, if you are Windows, normally you can do Python. But in MacBook, if you are using Python 2, Python 3, so in every time if Python 3 is installed, you have to mention Python 3. But there is some others way. We do not have to type Python 3, but Python 3 if you do not want to do some extra things. Python 3 and then type the file name. If I think, yeah, fine, this one. And let's click this one, and what will do? Fine. So you can see this is our output. Okay, so let's make it more clear just for your understanding. Result. Okay, so you can see this is a type of list we are getting as an input, as a output, right? And inside this list, this one is our first element, not this one. You can see this is not, because this is something outside of this program, right? We are not passing anything here. So this is our first argument, and this argument where it is stored inside this ARGV, right? Similarly, if we pass more argument here, okay, so something like, let's pass something 1 2 3, name. So you can see we haven't created any variables here, but all the things we are passing from here, it will be stored inside this list. Fine, let's click or run. So you can see everything except this one. After that, every element, or it is more specifically, precisely we can say all these are argument are stored inside this list, right? So you already know how to access the list. So if you want to access the list, you have to use indexing 0 1 2 3 like that. Okay, fine. So if you want to get the first argument or like that, how you can do that? Less 0. So 0 argument will have file name or program name, file name. So first argument in command line, or we can say 0 indexing, is always the file name of the program file name, sorry. Okay, so let's run this one, You can pass anything, right? Let me show something like that more. And all the argument we are passing here, all are treated as a string. These are also a string, these are not a string. So because this is an alpha, you know character only, non-numeric. Okay, this is not numeric, so that's why I'm using double quote. But every things, all argument data type as a string. Okay, so yeah, you can type anything. I'm just, for sake of understanding, okay, I'm doing this one. Okay, let's expand this window. Fine, and let's run it again. So you can see zero indexing file name is stored. After that, these are argument. On these argument, you want to do whatever you like, you can do based on these argument. If you want to add something, if you want to restrict something, like our all argument should be numeric, or all the arguments should be a string, everything you can restrict it here. How we can restrict, like suppose we are creating for addition, something like that. Okay, fine. So similarly for 0, and if we want to access element one by one, okay, so how we can do that? Or maybe you can store these different items of the list to some variables. That is not any concern. Okay, so let's, now we are trying to do, we are going to create sum. Okay, and what sum will do? Sum will do all the argument we have passed. So we are creating our own command, and that command will add everything whatever we are passing as the argument. Okay, so how we can do that? So first let's loop, traverse the loop, because all the element is stored inside this one, right? So item in this, and we have to start from 1, because 0 indexing always is file name, and we are making the additions, right? So we are using this list slicing. From argument 1, everything should be added. Okay, and then let's make it sum total equal to sum total and plus item. But every item we are extracted, each item is type of string, so we have to explicitly convert it here into integer, then we can do the additions, else it will do concatenations if you are not converting. Fine, and then define here, store some value called 0. Fine, so this is our command for adding everything. Okay, so we are creating one command for additions. So let's do here. So clear this, I'm going to clear. Fine, and now let's pass, because now we are extracting from after first argument we are going to perform additions. So now we cannot pass like that, because this character is not digit, else it will show error, right? Because we are performing addition, so it will show error here. So now we cannot pass like that. So later we can do the handling, exception handling, but now we are considering that we are good person, so we are passing only integers value. Okay, then okay, so but we haven't print it here, so let's print it outside the loop, so that check our result. Fine, and this is our result. Or if you want to do like that, sum, so you can check, this is extra things we are doing, but everything is just stored inside this one. So this one is the very important, just you have to remember, memorize, like this is your ARGB. So for simplicity I just how we can do variable argument. Okay, so argument variables. Okay, it like that. It might be something else, but just how I'm memorizing, so I'm just explaining to you. Okay, so now, okay, so sum total plus sum total is not defined, so make sure we have made some mistake. Okay, fine. So this one is our mistake. Let's run this one. So now you can see this is our total, whatever argument we have passed from here. File name is this one. After file name 1 2 3 addition is 6. Fine. So you can see every time, suppose we are passing 3 argument, so we do not have to define any 3 variables, right? Similarly 4 5, so any number of argument, because see, if we are passing like that, I am not going changing here inside the code. Okay, we are not interfering inside the code, but the operations or command is working perfectly, doing all the things like that. Okay, so addition is like that. So not 1 2 3 4 5, like you can pass anything, but simplicity I'm just doing like that. Okay, so you can see this is our result. Fine. So this is the very good thing about the command line language. So just I just explained. So if you have understood this one, right, so most of the operation is clear, you can do very easily. I do not have to ask like how to do summations, how to do multiplication. So you already know whatever argument we are passed or we are passing from command line, everything will be stored inside this list. And if you know how to access the list, the rest of the things you can do from your side, right? So this was for summations. Similarly, if you want to some student informations or anything, you can do right from there. And even if you want to check number of arguments, similarly you can write it here. Length functions you can use, how many argument are in we have passed, so you can count it here like that. You already know this is a type of list, so how to calculate the length of list like that, and it will number of list it will display. Similarly you can use error handling or anything like that. Fine. So this was the total idea of command line argument. Let me check if you have missed something. Okay, so this is repetitive. Let me just explain. Access the argument using argv. Ar system.argv is a list that has stored all the argument passing to the script. Fine. This is the argument 0. Already you know from here. You do not have to memorize. You know everything is a list, and the first list, this is a file name. First item or first element of the list is file name. Get it from here. Similarly, this is a very simple thing. You already know. You can store, suppose somebody passing argument like that. So maybe first argument you can store at name, second argument. So this data you are passing as an input, you can do here from here, right? And one important thing here is we are not using any input functions, command line or not command line, prompt. If you remember, for taking any input from outside the command, which function we are using these functions. You remember this one, right? If we are using this one, so what are the limitation of this one? So suppose if you want to pass if you want to take 3 input, so you have to define 3 variables. If you define to 4, you have to define 4 variables. So every time you have to implicitly or explicitly, or every time you have to go inside in this code and then define one variable, then you can do this one. But in this case, any number of input you can pass. There is no any changes inside this program as a part of taking input. Rest of the code, what you want to perform on this argument, you have to decide. But for taking the input, we do not have to make any changes. We do not have to create extra prompt, input prompt like that. Okay, so you already know this is fine. Example, simple argument. Similarly, I think you can do from your side, from your understanding. Argument 0 will be file name, and this is for checking length of this one. I have already explained. Just for calculating sum, you can see like that. Okay, so you can just this one, either you can define any argument like that, and this argument passed list, you can pass argument as a list and inside these functions, and the rest of the things function will do. We are done without help of functions. You can pass this code, or write this code inside any functions, and you can in functions you can pass this as a argument, function argument, right. So the key point again, argument are passed as a string. I've already explained everything is considered as a string. Okay, so if you are if you everything is a string and you want to treat as a string, then fine. But if you want to perform some arithmetic operation, so you have to take care about the data type, which data type you have to perform operations, or which element you want to perform arithmetic operation, on which data you want to do some normal operations, or just for storing purpose. Okay, that one. Use cases, so length, how we can calculate, handle potential error. Even you can enable error handling, but the idea of this program was to just how to pass command line argument, and how to run, or obviously how to write and how to run the command line argument. So what are the common use cases? File path, okay, specifying file to be read or write. So suppose if we want to, in this case we have written one program for summations, right? So similarly, if you, because suppose we are creating some command for file reading, okay, so you can pass argument as a file, just in case of CP, just like CP. So this was first name, was file name was for source file name, then destination file name, just like that we have to pass, right? Source file name, destination file name. So similarly, if we want to create read or write, file read or something like that, and then you have to give any file name like read.txt, like that, right? So this is a very helpful, because if you have use for what we can say normal additions, so I don't think very intuitive approach for just you are creating your own command for summation, because already too many utility function already available in any operating system, right? But obviously you can do that, but just I'm saying. So one use case will file path. If you want to read some file from some locations, so you can create your own file reading command using this command line argument. Configurations options, setting different parameter for a script. Even you can make some different type of settings like help, or if user passed, suppose somebody do not know what is meaning of what your file read will do. Okay, so in this case we can pass like h. If somebody type h, then you can return some type of help, and where you can write it here inside this case. Okay, so inside this case, if you check if the argument 0 or argument 1 is type of h, then it means user is want to know the help. Okay, if you are passing like that, fine. So you can define any options like not h, if you want to type like hey, something like that. So you can create some custom argument options, and with that options you can do anything but in this case one is help, just like creating some software and somebody want to know what this file read will do. So you can instruct like that. If you want to know about this one, so help this s, but what s will do you have to write inside this code. Fine, this program. Fine. So this is configurations files. This was the meaning. User input, collecting preferences or choices without prompt, right? I've already explained. This is called taking the input from the prompt. Okay, but we are not taking input from the prompt. We are directly taking as a argument. Okay, so this is two things very important. Normally, whenever we run any Python program. So either we are taking input from the prompt with the help of input, or we are taking input from the command line as a command line argument. So this is two way for explicitly taking input from outside from this program. Okay, fine. So this was the thing. Fine, I think, yeah, that's what different thing. Okay, so that's all everyone. I hope you understood this concept very clearly. Still you have some doubt and you think this video is helpful, please do like and subscribe. Also put down some and drop some comment below. Okay, I will surely answer your query or your doubts. So that's all everyone. Thank you so much for watching.